Coach Maxx to our Lutheran High tennis team, but he is also known as Pastor Fisher at St. Paul's Lutheran Church in New Melle, and I'll let him start our devotions for today.
Thank you, Coach Smith. Hey, Cougar Nation, good morning. I hope you have that. Oh, some of you were awake enough to try to respond. I didn't even want to put you on the spot like that. Well, thank you. I do hope you're in that cougar state of mind I've been hearing so much about, so let's just jump right into God's Word today. Then the mother of the Zebedee's sons came to Jesus with her sons and kneeling down asked a favor of him. "What is it you want?" Jesus asked. Well, she said, "Grant that one of these two sons of mine may sit at your right hand and the other at your left hand in your kingdom." "You don't know what you're asking," Jesus said to them. "Can you drink the cup I am going to drink?" "We can," they answered. Jesus said to them, "You will indeed drink from my cup, but to sit at my right hand or left is not for me to grant. These places belong to those of whom they have been prepared by my Father." When the 10 heard about this, that's the other disciples, they were indignant with the two brothers. Jesus called them together and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." This is the Word of God. Like Coach Smith or Mrs. Smith, or however you're talking about her at your general classroom or coach setting, said earlier, I am a tennis coach. Not a very great one, but I am a tennis coach, and I know a few things about tennis. And one of the things you got to know about tennis for all of those who have never even heard of it before, or seen it before, or played it before, is that technique is everything, which is why I developed so slowly, because I'm not very patient and I'm not very coordinated. If you can relate to that, you still have a chance to play tennis, believe it or not. But the thing with tennis is that you have to have your body and every little part of your body lined up almost perfectly to be able to hit the shot perfectly, to hit it as well as you want to hit it, to hit it where you want it to go, right? And you might be thinking, great, I'll just stand in the right position and have the racket here. No, it's like you're talking wrist, forearm, biceps, shoulders, feet, legs, body placement, where your hips go, and then you got to swing and do the motion, and then you got to follow through with the motion. Anybody who's learning to play tennis might know that that's a frustrating experience. It certainly was for me, because it demands so much particular focus on the body. And not to mention, we're not just talking about one swing. Each point might be 3, 4, 5, 6, who knows how many swings you're going to have to execute to get the point. It's not an easy sport, and to make matters worse, there are some swings that are more difficult than other swings. I was just talking about a normal ground stroke. What about a serve? Now, the serve is kind of like the coolest shot in tennis. It's the one that you see. It's the one where people can get it going 100+ miles per hour. It's where the term ace comes from. You use that in some other sports too. But that's when a serve is so big, so powerful, so strong that when it's smacked down on the other side, the person on the other side can't even get their racket on it. They can't even get their body in position quick enough. The ball's moving too fast, too well. Ace! That means you get a point, by the way. Points are good in most sports. But the thing with the serve, especially at the high school level, is that if you have maybe not the biggest serve, maybe not the best serve, maybe not the perfect serve, but if you have a good enough serve, like a consistent serve, a serve that gets the job done, a serve that's in bounds, maybe deep, maybe puts the other person in the defensive, well, you're going to win a lot of points. Because that serve, if you get the right leverage on it, if you're in the right position, that serve is going to be one of the hardest, strongest, biggest shots that you have in your arsenal, even if it's not the best. And you're going to win a lot of points off of that. It's very hard to serve, but it's also very hard to return a serve. And that's why we emphasize if you can just get consistency on that serve, you are going to be a very successful tennis player at this level. A good serve means victory. Now, I don't think that tennis was invented in the time of Jesus, but if it was, I bet you he would be really good at tennis because he had a good serve. Listen what Jesus says. He says the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve. Now, this comes in the context of a bit of a back and forth, a bit of a volley between these two disciples. And you know, sometimes mom or parent or guardian can be a little overbearing, and they really want what's best for you. They want you to be successful. That's a good thing. We're happy for that. We thank God for that. But sometimes it can be a little embarrassing, right? And she comes to Jesus, and listen, your parent or guardian has never done this. They've never gone to Jesus and asked for you to be one of the head spots in their kingdom. But that's what she does. And it exposes that there's this back and forth not only between the sons of Zebedee, but it's also between the other disciples. They're jockeying for power. They're jockeying for prestige. They're ambitious. They hear the word kingdom, and back in the day, kingdoms were legit. You had legitimate castles, fortresses, armies, gold, treasure, and they're like, hey, Jesus is going to have a kingdom. I bet you if I was at his right hand, you were at his left hand, we'd be doing pretty good for ourselves. How about that? Well, the other disciples didn't like that. Nobody likes someone who's a try-hard for their own selfish ambitions, for their own sake. Well, Jesus calls them out for that. Because this kind of egotism, this kind of self-centeredness, this kind of pursuit for worldly treasures and ambitions is the opposite of the kingdom that Jesus was establishing. That kind of stuff works in the world. If you're just looking to get some money or get some fame, that might be exactly what you want to do. But if we're talking about the eternal kingdom of the creator of the whole universe, it's the opposite. Self-sacrifice, service to others, emptying love for the sake of the person next to you, even your enemies. That was the kind of foundation pieces that this kingdom that Jesus was establishing and bringing into the world was going to be. A kingdom not of the world, but in the world, and he would reign. How do we know this? Well, Jesus says it. The Son of Man came not to be served, like any good king would expect, but rather to humble himself and serve. That's what Jesus was trying to do. So there you go, a layup. That's another sports reference, by the way. It has nothing to do with tennis. That's a different sport. All you need to do to be in Jesus' kingdom is serve. Humbly, sacrificially, self-emptyingly. All the grammar English class people out there, I don't know if that was a word, but we're trying here. It's early. Except that we know that this shot is not so easy. Because if it was that easy, the world would really and truly look like a different place. You would all be self-sacrificial, self-emptying, going out and finding even the most outcasted person or the person who is most hostile to you, and you would be serving them. You would be down on your knees like Jesus was, washing their gross, dirty, stinky post-tennis practice feet. Who's doing that? Or are you more like me and more like a lot of people in the world, and you struggle against the reality in your own heart to serve yourself, to pursue your own ambitions, to pursue your own dreams and goals, even if it means ignoring the reality of the people in need, the people suffering, the people hurting all around you. And it doesn't mean goals and dreams are bad, but it does mean this. We are not perfect creatures. We are limited creatures, and we often do the easier thing, which is turn inwards and try to get ourselves at either a left or a right hand of somebody important, somebody in power, so we can serve our own kingdoms. And just like watching the great tennis players, which I try not to do too much because I feel bad about myself. We're talking like Djokovic or even Serena Williams, these great, great tennis players with all of their ability, all of their technique. They do everything perfectly. And I realize, well, I'll never, ever be able to play tennis like any of those people. And one of the most frustrating things you can get probably from a preacher or from another Christian is someone saying, well, you just have to do what Jesus did. Well, hello? He's the Son of God. Any son of God out there that is going to be able to do the things that Jesus did? To serve with the love and the care and the compassion and the self-emptying and sacrifice that Jesus did? I don't think so. To be able to humble yourself when you had a kingdom of the universe, to walk in the dirt and the muck of broken humanity. How about this? To be able to walk to across the people you were trying to save, rejecting every word you said, and they're going to sling you up on a torture device and kill you. Oh, to make matters worse, to continue to love and serve and self-empty and sacrifice even when every single one of your friends says, no way, I'm out. As they strung him up alone on a cross. And to be able to read, and this one's pretty convicting to me, to be able to read the minds of every single one of his beloved creatures and know of the rebellion, know of the hate, know the mistakes and the filth and the brokenness that goes on in each one of our minds and hearts, and still want to die for you. I struggle to be like Jesus. I struggle to think selflessly. I struggle to humble myself. I struggle to set aside my ambitions for the sake of others. I struggle to sacrifice my own well-being to make someone else's better. My serve is weak. There's the tennis metaphor again. And it seems like sin and death and Satan and the world takes advantage of the shot and smashes it right back in my face. It can be discouraging to anyone who has tried to pick up a sport later in life, like I did for tennis. It's that discouraging to feel like you just can't play. But here is the really good news, and it's the good news about our text. It's the good news about our passage, because even while these two disciples were being putzes and not doing what they were supposed to do and not thinking of things in terms of Jesus' kingdom, Jesus Christ still says this phrase, this acknowledgement that he came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. The point of this passage, the point of the gospel of Jesus, the point of all of the scriptures is this: it's not about you, it's about what Jesus has come to do for you. He has come to serve you because he loves you. Because the creator of the universe wants you, his creatures, forever and ever. And he knows that you're broken. He knows that your serve is weak. He knows that you're not lining up perfectly. He gets it. So he came to suffer. He came to die. He came to rise again so that you would know that one day, if you trust him, if you cling to him, if you walk with him, one day you too would rise again. He came to serve you. He came to serve you so that you would be served. And if you think you're too weak, too broken, too dirty, too much of a failure to play this game of life and faith, Jesus just hit an ace on your behalf. Game, set, match. A king deserving of 1,000 servants has come to wash your feet. To suffer the death of the cross, alone, condemned, and separated from God, so that when he rose again, we might know that his word is good. You are forgiven. You are loved. You have been served. In tennis, we start the game off, and you may have heard this before in some pop culture reference, but we start the game out, love to love. It's a loving kind of sport. It's a loving game, but that just means no point to no point, 0 to 0. But how about it in this metaphor, the tennis vocab I'm using, we apply it to your life of service. I'm not asking you to be like Serena Williams or Federer or any of those greats. I'm not even asking you to be Jesus. Let Jesus be Jesus. Let Jesus serve you and love you and care for you like the creator of the universe that he is. I'm asking you to receive Jesus, to be served by Jesus. Let him love you. Let him take care of you. Find yourself in places where Jesus is, so that he can get his hands on you and take care of your brokenness, heal you of your guilt and your shame and your pain and your suffering. Let him serve you. Let him forgive you, so you can be like Jesus. Because once you realize that you are in need of the love, mercy, grace, and sacrifice of Jesus, you will be able, it will actually increase your ability to serve, to look at others, even your enemies, your worst enemies, even the person who is unlovable, frustrating, or out of the way, and you will always approach them with love, because you have been approached with love. Because you have been first loved by the creator of the universe, by a father who sent his son to die for you, to serve you. I tell players when I get the opportunity, the best way to get better at tennis, especially returning serves, is to play with someone who is better than you at the sport, who has a bigger serve than you. You're going to get a lot of things blasted in your face. You're going to get a lot of aces coming your way. You're going to get discouraged and frustrated, I'm sure, if you do that. But if you play with someone a little bit better with you, you're going to eventually pick up on their skill set, and you're going to grow as a tennis player, especially if they have a good serve. Well, good news. Jesus Christ came to play, and he got the first serve. And he won the match for you. He won you. And now, today, Cougar Nation, if you're still listening, it's love to love. It's your serve. Amen. Thank you for letting me be here with y'all today.
Thank you, Pastor and Coach, for giving us our devotion this morning. Here are your announcements for today, Friday, April 1st. Today is a B-Day. LHS Boys Volleyball is dedicating a home game to our very own Parker Dwyer, scheduled Monday, May 2nd, with JV at 5 o'clock and varsity at 6. Please purchase a T-shirt and pack the stands in support of Parker. All proceeds will go to the Dwyer family for ongoing medical expenses for Parker. This season, the boys play for Parker, hashtag P4P. Use the following link found on Canvas and Power School to order a T-shirt. Deadline is April 12th to order those shirts. Club and activity photos continue to take place at the beginning of second block. Make sure you check the schedule outside, posted around classrooms. These will take place through April 22nd. All seniors were sent an email from Mrs. Junkel with a link to an online form. Please make sure you complete that form. See Mrs. Junkel if you have any questions. And next week, if you're looking to pick up some spirit wear, the Spirit Store will be open Thursday from 2:30 to 3:30, and then the following Monday, April 11th, from 6 to 7. In athletics today, we have varsity girls soccer at Duchesne High School at 5:30. Those of you in the Commons, please keep your chairs where they're at. You do not need to stack them. That concludes our announcements. Blessings on your day.